Nigeria may be staring at a quiet economic crisis. In 2025, several key ministries received zero or near zero capital releases, despite the National Assembly approving hundreds of billions of naira for projects. On paper, the money exists. In reality, however, it never arrived, and the gap between approval and release could slow growth, stall infrastructure, and weaken public services. Let's break it all down. The 2025 budget contained major promises: 20,000 houses under the Renewed Hope housing agenda, massive ICT investments, 3,573 constituency projects worth around 653.19 billion naira, 1,972 senatorial projects valued at 444.04 billion naira. But capital funding, the part that builds roads, hospitals, rail lines, and housing, largely did not flow. The numbers are stark. The Ministry of Health and Social Welfare received just 36 million naira out of 218 billion naira approved for capital projects. That's 0.0165% of the total sum. The Ministry of Transportation, on the other hand, got 2.57 billion naira from an approved 256.73 billion naira, roughly 1% of the total sum. Elsewhere, the Ministry of Women Affairs received 394.8 million naira out of 89.8 billion naira. The Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy got 202 million naira from 3.5 billion naira. That is about 1.7% of the total sum. The Ministry of Interior, it reportedly received zero capital releases in both 2024 and 2025. The Ministry of Housing also recorded zero releases for most of its fiscal year, though an authority to incur of about 23 billion naira was reportedly issued in late December. In simple terms, ministries, departments, and agencies of government were told they had money, but they could not spend it. At budget defense sessions, agencies admitted they could not execute projects because cash was not released. The Accountant General of the Federation told lawmakers that funds can only be disbursed when they become available. He also pointed out that the old ways and means financing method is no longer in use. That means ministries cannot rely on the central bank for overdrafts to fill the gaps. But here's a deeper concern. If capital spending stalls, development stalls. Capital expenditure is what drives construction, manufacturing, job creation, and supply chains. When it drops, growth slows down. If only 30% of capital spending was implemented, the big question is, where did the rest of the money go? The government has asked ministries, departments, and agencies to roll over 70% of the 2025 capital project into 2026. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu proposed a 43.56 trillion naira appropriation bill to harmonize the 2024 and 2025 budgets. The intention is to reset the framework and consolidate emergency spending. But analysts argue that repeated rollovers weaken credibility of the system. Projects are announced one year and then postponed the next. Infrastructure timelines continue to get stretched. Costs rises, investors lose their confidence. There is also a structural problem. Some revenue-generating agencies retain significant funds due to laws establishing them. Meanwhile, social sectors like health, agriculture, and education depend entirely on what is released through the budget office. The imbalance is clear and obvious at a time of rising debt servicing costs, inflationary pressures, and fiscal strain. Underfunding capital projects sends the wrong signal. No country grows by starving infrastructure. No economy expands without investment. If capital releases continue to lag behind appropriations, Nigeria risks turning its annual budget into accounting exercises instead of development tools. And when capital spending disappears, so do jobs, roads, housing, and opportunity. Now, the numbers tell the story. The question is whether policy will change it.